Alright, what's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over pre-market um my pre-market analysis, and then we'll be going over my live trading session for today. Today is February 11th, 2026. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, traders, now you guys are looking at my screen. Right here we have my pre-market analysis for the day. Um and I have noted pre-market that 180-day chart previous area of resistance is now being heavily supported. Um, Pre-market breaking out of its little consolidation period and entered in its 180 demand zone, looking to see how participants interact at these levels of interest. So pretty much, what I've been noting the last couple of days is that has been our area of demand, right? In an area where demand exceeds supply. Um, and then we have our area of supports, supports. It came over here, got supported, came over here, got supported. And what I was noting was this previous area of resistance is now acting as a support here. So just like the previous day, it created a higher level of support. As you guys can see, a pretty similar pattern. It pushed up, created a resistance, pushed up again, touched that resistance, came back and supported, and then I had a continuation of the move. And yesterday I was able to execute and make some money off of that strategy. So we see the similar pattern as well. We have a push up into the demand zone, a pull back into support, and then a continuation to this area of demand. Uh, so with that being noticed, we have our areas of interest, right? We have our areas that we find um, buyers and sellers interacting in, right? So we have this area which is being supported and this area which is being rejected. In pre-market, it's having its push up into our area of demand, our area in which sellers have previously stepped in based off of history. So, right, we want to pretty much see how the buyers and sellers are going to interact in this area of demand zone, possibly looking for a continuation of the move. This is a healthy uptrend right here. It's been having its pullbacks and its continuations of the move. And as you guys can see, I have noted here closer look where we can see SPY in a healthy uptrend into demand zone with a points in which resistance is now acting as today's support. Right, so we had our downtrend, right? Our series of lower lows and lower highs. And now we're having our series of higher lows, higher low. Yesterday as well, if you just look at this left side of the chart, it was creating a higher low as well, right? And we go into today's area. It's a little lower, but at the same time, this area of resistance, right? If you go and this is why I say it's an area of interest. This area of resistance, if you just go to the right side, you follow it to the right, follow it to the right, follow it to the right. Today, it's acting as an area of support. So this is an area where buyers have stepped in. Um, and this is a bullish indicator. Where sellers used to be in control is now an area where buyers are in control. So we're having our healthy pullbacks, right? And our breakout to the upside. We want to see how, in complete honesty, I was going into this today looking for a possible pullback and then a continuation of the move, right? A continuation of the move, or either we would see a rejection and then a continuation of the move, right? A continuation, it rejecting its demand zone and finding its way back to areas of supply that it's previously traded at. right? So we go down here and we have that a little closer, right? This is a little closer chart. This is the 5-day, 5-minute. We have our demand, supply, supply. So health. This is a healthy supply and demand zone. So pretty much, I was into going into today, thinking supply and demand, not really thinking trending, right? I was thinking with the last 2 days, and what the market has been showing us, and what had worked for me yesterday. I think you guys can even see my trade here. So if I'm not mistaken, I purchased it at this line. I sold into an area of demand. Actually, I think it was higher. So it had pushed up. If you guys can see, it had a rejection of demand, right? Made a higher level of support. I actually missed this first trade, this first dip. But if you guys can see that little candle red, it ended up pushing into its area of demand, right? As I have drawn out here. It pulled into an area of supply, which was this little note. Pre-market, it was acting as a rejection. So this area was a level of interest. This area was a level of interest as well, the one I drew up here. And so what I ended up doing was I bought it down here and I wrote it into at the area of demand and sold into it, right? So seeing how the market has been moving, it's been doing a lot of dip buys, so it comes into an area of demand and then pulls back into supply. So this being a healthy uptrend, what I wanted to see, what I anticipated at least, was it to pull back and then have a continuation. And if not, it was gonna, pull back and just continue to the downside. So as you guys can see, pre-market buyers are stepping in, buyers are showing strength since market open. And it on the 5-day, 5-minute, or this is the 1 hour chart, but this looks healthy. This looks healthy. It has its demand zone, our areas of supply, our areas of interest based off of previous history. And when we're looking to see how this interacts, so we get a rejection point, and it starts to get to support. It starts to get supported, you know, by these area of previous support. So I'm starting to get interested in the stock, right? I see this move is trying to make it lower, but buyers are supporting this area, which have buyers have done previously. So what I want to do is put myself in the favor um of where buyers have shown strength, and then see if we can follow that same momentum to the to to whichever side, right? In this case, it was the upside. So I think I end up looking for a trade. I'm starting to like this. I starting to see strength, right? You guys can see it's making a push down, starting to curl up. Let's see if I take a trade. So yeah, I get into the stock. So what it's doing, it came down, had a rejection. I'm buying it in an area where it's been supported previously, a resistance, acted as a support, continuation of the move, right? So this is a bullish indicator. This is what I was pretty much anticipating during this trade. So we had a push to the upside, a rejection, a higher support, right? As you can see, resistance acting as a support. This is a healthy uptrend. Tested a higher resistance zone. An area that was being rejected previously is now being supported with a continuation of the move. And then as you guys can see, it did it once more. It pulled back, had an area of that's being supported. Previous resistance is now acting as an area of support. And I want anticipating then it had a continuation to the upside, right? So pretty much this was being supported at this level, looking to see if we can possibly get a continuation of this move. I try to put my stop. It ends up moving extremely quick against me. So looking back at this now in like hindsight, um so I'm pretty much just trying to get my stop loss there. I got out for a loser, and let me emphasize this before I continue with the video, is that now noticing it hindsight, after the fact, this is very wiki, right? This is very wiki, and that's not the issue, but the issue was I had bought it near near higher prices on this little range, right? It has this much to pull back. If I bought it at 80 cents, it still looks good, but 70 cents realistically is almost too 80 cents is too high of a price to pay if I want to risk 10 cents, right? If I notice these wicks, I should have at least tried to buy it closer to the bottom of the range, knowing it's being supported. Um, but the fact that my stop loss was, I mean, I got in at 80, my stop loss had to be 10 cents. It was extremely wicky and it just took me out. And this is a trade, not necessarily that I could have avoided, but it would have been much better. It would have been much better to at least buy it towards the bottom, or at least lower in this case, like around here, which I think I end up trying. I think I end up realizing my mistake, and I end up I'm liking this. This does look good. It's being supported, right? So let's see what happens here. I think I end up giving it another try. I gave it another try. This to me was a better trade because of how wiki it was. We want to put our stop loss under, right? Under the area that's being supported to, if it does break down, it invalidates our thesis instead of just touching that support once more, right? Because it's been wiki. It's been wiki. We want to at least put the stop loss in an area where it like truly invalidates our thesis versus it just wicking us out, right? At least like if I was to get a better entry and I took this trade right here and I know that my stop loss is here, that if I was to get out 100% it would have been invalidated. But what ends up happening was this it so okay. Yeah, what I'm noticing now is that premium is being smacked completely on this ticker that I'm looking at this on this contract that I'm looking at, the 697 call. The premium's just being smacked on this one. I should have gone for like a 696. Usually it doesn't. Usually it follows it much better, but this is one of those instances that it doesn't. As you guys can see, this one broke the low of you know of this little consolidation range, but this is still holding up. This still looks good. So yeah, um, it's still being supported. My thesis has not been invalidated. When we talk about this SPY, how the SPY is looking, my thesis has not been invalidated. It's just the fact that the premium was getting destroyed on this certain SPY call. And this is like very sophisticated. If you guys know about contracts and trading options, it's not as simple as it seems. It's not as simple as just buying the stock. You got I mean, much more factors to consider, and sometimes it plays with you, but sometimes it can play against you. And so, third trade. Why did I take a third trade? Because my thesis has not been validated. Um, the first trade, it could have been avoidable. Second trade, the premium completely smacked me. And third trade, on the third trade, my thesis has not been invalidated. My thesis has not been invalidated. I'm still looking for this move to happen. And but look, what happened on this third trade, I didn't take on full risk. So I got in at 71, right? 71 cents. My stop would have been 61 cents. Taking in mind that I've been getting smacked by premium, so I'm giving myself what 4 or 5 cents under the low of this candle, 4 or 5 cents under this low, so it would have been about here, right, where my cursor is, and looking for a at least a pop to the upside, the 88s, the 2 to 1, 3 to 1s, but I went half size. I went half size, and this is what messed me up for the day. This one was messed me up for the day because look, this messed me up for the day. As you guys can see, the move is going to the upside. Um, my thesis, what I was thinking, is, it's working out. It's working out. It's working out. So remember, I was risking 10 cents. This is up 2 to 1, but half size. My target was at 101, which was 30 cents, right? So it would have been a 3 to 1. Boom. So I hit my stop. I mean, I hit my target. I hit my target. I'm like, okay, so buyers are stepping into the stock. My thesis was never invalidated. That's why I kept trying it. Problem was I went with half shares. I went with half shares. I was being conservative. Let's say I was being scared, and this is what messed me up today. Cause a 3 to 1 on my taking on my full risk, as I should have, it would have put me into profit at this point, but right now I'm still down. So right here, I notice, okay, right? So I made most of my money back, from being down 2R from 2 losing trades. I've made back, yeah, so I did hit a 3R. I hit a 3R, um, but with this instance, I only made back, yeah, like half of that, half of what I was supposed to make. What ends up happening here is it came back, created a rejection, a higher high, right? And it's starting to be supported at a higher low. I'm like, okay, this looks good. This looks bullish, right? This looks bullish because, an area that was being rejected, that it was having trouble getting over, is now being supported. Looking to play with the momentum of the stock. We just had a big push up. I want to see this have a possible continuation of the move. I think I tried to submit an order, but it did not go through. No, I never hit an order. So I think I'm looking for a trade here. Yeah, looking for a trade, looking for a continuation of this move. And it's just not working out. It didn't work out, right? It didn't work out. Sellers took over in this area. Um, this area that was previously being rejected was being rejected again, and then it had pretty much more aggressive selling than oh, huh? So I guess I tried this twice. Yeah. Okay, so I tried it twice. I tried looking for the continuation of the momentum twice. I mean, because when you look at this looks good. This looks bullish. This looks like a healthy uptrend. And if it does come down and break down, it invalidates our thesis, right? It invalidates what we think. Um, not necessarily what we think, but what we're seeing, which is a continuation, a push higher. Buyers stepped in. Buyers are supporting a higher level, and then we're seeing lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs with higher lows, higher lows, and we get our thesis invalidated. That first trade, I probably just got wicked out. I'm not exactly too sure what happened there, But now I'm down 2R, so pretty much what I'm doing is just trying to be patient at this point. I see it wedging to the downside, and pretty much um I'm trying to get into areas where supply has stepped in before, right? So we're up some money. We're up 1 to 1. I should start going break even pretty soon. Okay, so at with this stock, my risk was 65 cents to this should have been a tighter stop, right? 65 cents to 55 cents. 55 cents would have been down here. The real support was up here. Even if it was 5 cents risk, it would have been 2, 3 cents under this mark. The But I'm up 20%, right? I'm up 20%. So I'm being patient and I'm looking for this risking 10 cents. I'm just looking for my 20 cents, my 2 to 1, right? Just looking for my 2 to 1, being patient. I this with this trade, it missed it just by a couple cents. I could have gone down with lower shares. It would have been pretty risky, but with this instance, I'm just seeing buyers stepped in, but sellers being more aggressive. Um, Sellers being more aggressive, but I'm noticing that there's confliction. There's a fight. It's not like they're just being slammed down. There's at least some buyers stepping in certain areas, and I'm trying to capitalize at least for a little scalp. And if I'm gonna be taking these type of scalps, I at least need 2 to 1 on my money. So right idea, in an area of previously supply. Looking for a continuation of the move. We had a continuation. We had buyers step in, right? Buyers step in. Sellers were more aggressive at this point, and I got out for a break-even trade, which is it's okay, it's okay. I wasn't able to hit my 2 to 1 by like 2 cents, 2 cents, but would have been a pretty nice trade. Would have got me in some profit. Um, so what ends up happening here is breakdown, seeing pretty much a support. Do I try it? Try it with a 10-cent stop. Try it with a 10-cent stop. Noticing that selling volume is dying to die out. There's a lot of buying volume. I don't think you can see on this wick, but the volume goes into this wick. The volume at this certain time goes into this wick. So this trade doesn't work out. This trade didn't work out. I was trying to get in where buyers were stepping in. Got flushed out, right? Got flushed out of the stock, so I think I'm down about 3R for the day, right? So we get into the and looking to see if we can pretty much get pretty much have you guys noticed at this point I'm on the wrong side of the move, right? Um Me anticipating buy order to buy the stock when I could have just been reversing the trades at this point, right? I think my first trade was a really good trade. That 3 to 1 was good, even though it didn't have a continuation of the move. Would have been a big winner. This one barely missed my 2 to 1. I was wrong about the direction, but I don't have to be right all the time. I just gotta make money. If I see buyers step in and I'm able to hit my 2 to 1, it's not about me being right or wrong. It's about me being able to capitalize on at least a small move, in my favor, especially when I'm looking at order flow, time and sales level 2 to confirm that I'm not just buying just to buy. That one trade, this was an instance where buyers just completely got smacked, and I would say this is probably my worst trade of the day. I still don't think necessarily it was the worst idea, but I could have been more patient with this one. and probably would have been able to avoid it. This was a better trade. This was a really good trade. Really good trade, but the first two just knocked me down, and pretty much I had started the day with two losers just because premium was smacking me. And when I do decide on, I mean, when I did have my winning trade, um, didn't take the right size. So right here, I'm just giving it a go. Once again, I'm starting to see buyers pick up. I'm up 1 to 1, 3 to 1, or 2 to 1. Seeing if we can have a see if we have a continuation of the move. That 2 to 1, it missed my 2 to 1 once again by like 2 cents, 3 cents. So what has happened in the last couple of days when I miss about 3 cents, it usually pulls back and has a continuation. But this time I'm like, all right, I'm down at the moment. I'm trying to be more conservative. I don't want this to come back and stop me out. I'm gonna take whatever profit I can. So what I do is I go break even and then I go to the support a level of support that's being supported during this trade. And yeah, end up going out for a small winner, like a point 0.5 winner. And I don't think I end up trading this again. Oh, so right here, I was gonna take this trade. But at this point, I'm just like, at this point, I was just mentally like, um, mentally, I was like, it's just not my day. It's just not my day. I'm able to play when the buyers step in, but the buyers don't want to have a continuation, and I don't want to short this stock because by the time I've noticed this is a shorting, a data short. I didn't get in at the right levels when to short, right? So I would just be chasing this move. So I was looking to get into this trade right here. I could have gone in at 90, 93 cents. Uh, I just mentally I wasn't there, but what ends up happening was it was the move. It ends up being the move, right? So from 93 cents, as you notice, when I was looking at it, 93 cents, it would have been a 10-cent stop, so 83 cents. It would have been right below the support level. And then my 3 to 1 would have been 123, which had hit on this first spike up. And this first spike would have been this area right here, if you guys can see on my cursor, this area of support, which is now being rejected, right? This would have been a nice area to get out of. As you guys can see, buying volume is now starting to die down after that point. This would have been a pretty good trade. I just wasn't there to capitalize on it. Mentally I wasn't 100% there, and I didn't want to take on more risk when I'm not at my 100%. And if I'm able to do that and keep on trying to avoid these dumb trades and just take high quality setups, I should be able to start, you know, consistently getting better. You know, right now it's a period of survival. We the last 2 days. Well, hello, hello. All right, so my mic turned off, but the last 2 days we've been having really like a lot of supply and demand setups. Um, so that's kind of not necessarily my bias, but this is what I was um anticipating, based off of the information the market has gave me. Um, it ends up working right here. At this point, I just decided not to trade. If I did, it would have been nice. And well, pretty much, I think the biggest mistake I made today was not taking on my full risk when I should have. It would have put me into profit. It would have put me into profit on the start of the morning. Maybe I would have got out for a break even day, worst case scenario. But that's not the case. So making these videos to be fully transparent with you guys and to myself, and looking to become a better trader day by day. And yeah, not run from what is in front of me. That's the last thing I want to do.
All right, there you have it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, like, comment, and subscribe. But and if you guys do, please let me know down below what kind of videos would you guys be more interested in seeing. If you guys want to keep on seeing live recaps, or you guys would rather see me make a video about psychology, about supply and demand, anything more in depth, just let me know down below. And thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.